Hello everybody, welcome back to GAA Glory Tailteann Cup preview. A lot of games to preview again. This is the fourth video on the channel as well, the very fourth, so excuse the old rustiness and all that. But if you are new, please, it'd be a pleasure if you could hit that subscribe button, like the stream, let us know. Actually, the reason why we're late is because I had network issues. I was meant to be live at 2, I was meant to be live at 2:15. And half 2, so we're a bit late, 40 minutes late. But listen, let us know in the comments, who do you think will win the upcoming games this weekend? Any standout players? We'll have obviously we have the All-Ireland round robin that kicks off on the weekend, so that'll preview for them games will probably be either tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, first video on the channel. Hopefully we can grow, hopefully not just on YouTube, but hopefully we can grow on all socials as well. You look at it, obviously we had 1 week number 1 of the Tailteann done, but this channel wasn't actually created at the time, so provincials are all set and done. They're all done and dusted, so now we look on to the Tailteann Cup, a competition that, not to say, Westmeath won it last year. Cavan, I'd say, are favourites this year. I'd probably have them down as favourites for me, but we'll talk about them near to the end as well. But listen, I suppose we'll kick off. No point waiting about. Let me just get the first game up here anyway. So we have. Whoops, let me get this out of the way. So we have the first game of the Tailteann Cup, which, if my phone lets me, we have the first game of the weekend basically, which is Tipperary against Down. Where can I find that? So we have Tipperary against Down in the FBD Semple Stadium. Obviously Down won last weekend. Hold on, let me get the old stats up here. See, obviously, Down won last weekend. Not saying that they had a decent Ulster. Obviously, Armagh kind of, gave them a bit of a kick. But yeah, I'm just looking at here. Tipperary obviously lost last weekend by 11 points. They played Meaden Park Tailteann. Down beat Watford comfortably, I'd say 2-14 to 1-6, so they beat them by 11 points in Down Park Esler. So it is going to be an interesting game. You obviously you probably know who the favourite is, which is Down for this game. But yeah, listen, you have to give it to Down. They knocked out Donegal and Ulster. They had a decent Ulster. I'm sure they probably would have been preferred to be in the round robin than the Tailteann Cup. A lot of teams would. I'm sure if you sit here and ask the Meath or the Cavan, teams like that. It's mad that Dublin played Cavan in an All-Ireland semi-final in 2020, which is mad to believe. Now, obviously, Dublin are still competing for the All-Irelands and Cavan are competing for the Tailteann Cup. But as I said, the Tailteann Cup is actually a decent competition to compete, get yourself in there, see what you can get, and it is good. As I said, Westmeath won last year, so it was a competition, that your Offaly's could maybe have a chance of winning, or Meath or Wexford or Down, Cavan, Laois. There's opportunities. There's opportunities there. And yeah, it's interesting. It really, really is interesting. It actually, I know it's a Tailteann Cup, but it is actually an interesting competition. Like, I remember watching it last year, the semis on the final. It actually was a lot more interesting than people actually expect to be. Two teams that, I'm not saying they haven't got they haven't got the style that your Dublins would, or your Mayos, or your Kerrys, or your Galways, or your Derrys even, but it's still evenly matched. Obviously you still get hammerings in there, but you know, it's still you still get a few interesting games. I mean, you know, Carlo obviously beating Wicklow last weekend. You know, would that come across as a shock? You know, Leitrim Antrim, you know, that seemed like it was an interesting game. Fairman and Wexford drew. So they're evenly matched games. They're evenly matched games. But yeah, listen, Tipperary down. In my opinion, I think Down are going to win by about 8 or 9 points. I do think that'll happen. Tipperary, let's just admit, they haven't got the firepower like Down would. But I'd still expect you'd probably expect Tipperary to put in a bit more of a fight than they did against Meath. But listen, they got 11 points out of that game. 119 to 11. So and then obviously, I do expect Down to win by about 7 or 8 points. I'll be more than confident. And yeah, listen, listen again, this is a competition that I'm sure we're going to get a few shocking results. So not everyone's going to be right, but yeah, I mean, listen, best of luck. But I think Down are going to get the job done, in my opinion. But hopefully it's an interesting game. Hopefully it is an interesting game as well. But yeah, I mean, listen, let's move on. Let's move on to McGovern Park, Ruislip, London versus Cavan. Obviously, Cavan beat Laois last weekend, 220 to 114. So they beat them by 7. They beat them by 9 points. In Kingspan, Briefany Park. So yeah, I mean, listen, Laois, Laois are a decent team. You have to give it to them. So they seem like they tried to put some sort of a fight up against Cavan. And then obviously London. Let's look back. They played Offaly last weekend in O'Connor Park and they lost by 9 points. So again, I know 214 Offaly to 11 London, but I know that sounds like it was an absolute hammering, and some would say it was. But for teams like London, like 9 points defeat is not bad. Do I think they'll beat Cavan? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, I don't think London are going to beat Cavan, in my opinion. I think Cavan still have a bit of that firepower in them. As I said, it's mad to believe that they were literally in an All-Ireland semi-final. Like, they literally won Ulster in 2020. They had a great year in 2020. Obviously, they went and played Dublin in the All-Ireland semi-final, which obviously the Dubs beat them comfortably. But then now you look, what 3 years later, or even you're looking at them in the Tailteann Cup. But this is why the Tailteann Cup obviously was brought up, not just to have those teams sitting there, because it's a long summer when you haven't got. It's long when obviously your team is still involved, but it's even longer when your team's not involved. So even have one of these teams, like, I mean, just imagine if you've seen a Mayo win a Tailteann Cup, or a Galway, or a Kildare. I doubt we'll ever see that. I mean, you look at the other teams, Clare, Kildare, Louth. Who else do we have in there? Sligo. Obviously New York aren't involved, but it is interesting. It really, really is interesting. But yeah, listen, as I said, I think Cavan are going to get the job done by about 12, 13 points for me. I do think Cavan are going to have a bit of fun. But again, listen, as I said, it's away. It's in Ruislip. I think I'm saying that right. So I don't think London are going to bounce back. I mean, if I had to put a scoreline on it, London 1-9, Cavan 2-18. That'd be my prediction. That'd be my prediction. But yeah, that'd be me. I think London are going to, and I think Cavan are going to get the job done. And at the end, I'm going to kind of go through like me predictions, like who I think will win the table. I think it'd be too late to do predictions now in a separate stream. To be honest with you. But yeah, listen, let's move on. Carlow against Limerick. That's in Glennon. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? Glennon Brothers, Pearse Park. Limerick obviously beat Longford last weekend, which I'm sure people didn't expect. They beat Longford by literally a goal, 216 to 116. So a goal split the sides and Gaelic grounds. Carlow, they beat Wicklow by a single point. I mean, to be fair to you, I actually think this is going to be a fairly tight game. I actually think it's going to be a tight match. I actually do. I think it's going to be a tight one. Not as tight, as any other game, but I do think it's going to be such an interesting game. I mean, hold on. Did I put which game are we on now? Carlow Limerick. I put Clare Limerick, didn't I? Too. So yes, we have Carlow Limerick. I mean, listen, this could probably be a tight match. Carlow coming into this game, obviously delighted that they beat Wicklow by a point. A point decided it, and Limerick be coming into this game. I'm sure they'd be happy as well. They'd be looking at, they'd be coming into this game saying we beat Longford last week. Some probably didn't expect us to beat them at all. I mean, I honestly think this could be a tight match. I really, really do. I mean, you'd expect Carlow to have a lot more aggression in them and a lot more firepower in them. It could probably end in a draw. Don't be surprised. This is a hard one to predict. I mean, Carlow, they have a few youngsters in there. Limerick obviously didn't have the greatest league form, but with the group they are in, you don't blame them. This is tight. This is tight. I'm gonna say Carlow by 4 points. I'm gonna just say Carlow by 4 points. I do think that'll be. I was gonna go controversial, but I can't. But yeah, Claire, Carlow to beat Limerick by 4 points. That'd be my prediction as well. Hopefully I'm right. But yeah, let's move on to the other game as well. Longford up against Wicklow. Did we already just talk about this match? I think we did. Did we? Yeah, probably did. Yeah, as I said, Longford, Wicklow, Glennon Brothers, Pears Park. Again, you have Longford. Let's take this down. Actually, no, but no point having a look. I mean, listen, you look back at it. Longford be coming into this game looking for a win after losing against Limerick. Then Wicklow obviously coming into this game after losing by a point as well. So these two teams coming in looking for a bit, looking to bounce back. Both teams are looking to bounce back. I mean, listen, they're not the most best. Like they're not, they haven't. Like, if you had to compare them to a Cavan or a Mead or a, I don't know who else are we going to throw in there, Wexford if you want. They probably wouldn't have you wouldn't have the aggression and style. But I actually think this is going to be a draw. I don't know why. I just get a feeling that this is going to end in a draw. I just don't know why. I mean, I can see it ending in a draw. I can see both teams going at a hell for leather. But I'm going to go 114 to 114. I don't know. It just literally came out, but I think it's going to be a draw. I don't know why. I think both teams are going to go hell for leather. You're probably going to get a scrappy game all over, but I do think it's going to be 114 to 114. As well. But yeah, let's move on to the other game. Fortunately, it didn't save in the edits. Where we have Wexford facing Antrim in Chadwick's Wexford Park. So again, we have Antrim coming into this, after beating Leitrim, 318 to 212. Obviously, their defense probably wasn't the best, but they got the job done. They got the job done. You could say they beat them comfortably as well. So yeah, Wexford Antrim, and then Wexford obviously drew against Fairmanagh. 113 to 113 in Brewster Park, obviously in Fermanagh. I think Wexford are going to win. I actually think Wexford are going to get the job done by about 2 to 3 points. Tight game. But yeah, I think Wexford are going to get the job done. Just about. I think that'll be the outcome. Right, let's move on. Jeez, we're flying through these, aren't we? Leitrim against Fermanagh. So we have Leitrim against Fermanagh. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. Leitrim against Fermanagh. Obviously, Leitrim coming into this game after losing against Antrim, as we just spoke. Fermanagh coming into this game after drawing. I do. I think. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I think Leitrim are going to win. I think no, not Leitrim. Sorry, I think Fermanagh are going to. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 2-3 point win. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be high quality stuff, but I just think Leitrim are going to. They're like, what do I keep saying Leitrim? I actually think Fermanagh are going to beat them. I personally think Fermanagh are going to beat them by about 3 or 4 points, in my opinion. It's going to be an interesting one, but that is my prediction. That is my prediction for Leitrim against Fermanagh. Let's mosey on into the next game. Right now, let's move on to the remaining 2 games. So we have Waterford against Meath in Frere Field. Obviously, Meath coming into this game after beating Tipperary by 11 points. Waterford coming into this game after a 11-point defeat. I mean, listen, personally, no disrespect to Waterford, but I think Westmeath are going to beat them. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be an absolute masterclass performance, but I think Waterford. You know, I don't think they have enough firepower. I don't think they're going to have the greatest of Tailteann cups. You know, we could see an early exit from them. I mean, he probably just. I'm sure if they lose this game, they're gone. But you know, I think Meath are going to win by the same margin they beat Tipperary by. You know, I'd say probably a bit more. I'd say about 11, 12 points. I think Meath are going to get the job done. I mean, I think Meath can go far in this competition. They have a young team. They can be aggressive. You know, you look at that manager as well. You know, it is an interesting one, and I think especially the Meath coach. You know, if you know who he is. Obviously, I know who he is, but you know what? Obviously, he'll want to win this competition. He'll want to make it fair, but I do think Meath are gonna. We'll see them in the knockout stages, and I think Meath are gonna beat them by about 11 or 12 points. That is my opinion. And the last game, I feel like this is going to be a tough one to predict. Laois, Offaly. Obviously, Laois played Cavan. They lost. Offaly beat London by 9 points. I mean, listen. This is tough. Offaly. That wasn't meant to happen. Offaly, obviously, Sure having a better year than they expected. Again, they're another team, young and aggressive. Laois, some would say they have a bit more firepower. I'm sure it's going to be a tight game, but I'm going to go controversial. No, I know I'm going to go Offaly by 2. Offaly to win by 2 points. That is my opinion. I think Offaly will beat them by 2 points because they have a lot more quality as well. I mean, listen, I'm just going to run through the groups anyway. So obviously, Cavan remain top, Offaly second, both on 2 points. London and Laois third and fourth with 0 points. Down fourth, Mead second on 2 points. Tipperary and Waterford in the bottom 2. Obviously, I think it's going to be Cavan and Offaly. I think they'll progress down mid. Limerick, Carlow. Yeah, I mean, I think you probably see Carlow, Limerick. Yeah, and then Antrim, Wexford, Fermanagh, Leitrim. I think it's going to be Antrim, Fermanagh, Wexford, and Leitrim. That is my opinion. Well, listen, that's been the fourth stream ever on the channel, and I actually really enjoyed it. We'll have the All-Ireland predictions tomorrow, going through the games. I think there's only 2 or 3, maybe 4, so it won't be a long one, but we'll get a bit more into depth as well. I just thought I'd put out a stream, see how it goes, see how people like it. Obviously, it's not going to get a lot of views because it's the first stream on the channel, but it's a start. I enjoyed it. We'll have a lot more streams coming up on this channel. We might get an L watch along in there. You never know. But no, and anyways, we'll have previews, post-match reactions. What else is there? There's a lot of things in there. Predictions. We'll have a fun show. We'll have a fun show. We'll try and get a few guests on as well. Obviously, I feature on like What's the Score and GA Fan TV and all that good stuff. So hopefully we can build a relationship with them as well. And yeah, listen, please follow our social. You can see a few on the edit there under me. Follow our Instagram and Twitter. Be much appreciated. Just type in GA Glory. Links in the description if you can't find it. But yeah, thanks buddy for watching, and I'll speak to you all in a bit.